NFL fans, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I'm going to do a quick 10-minute video on all my predictions for week one. It's my first time breaking down these games in a very short format, but I got someone for you guys to meet. Meet Miss Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the newest addition to the J All Day family. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. All right, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the week one picks in 10 minutes or less. NFL fans, here we go. Let's get into my week one predictions in 10 minutes or less. We're going to spend about 30 seconds on each of the 16 games. Woo! Let's get into it. We're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys traveling on the road to take on the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Brand new coaching staff led by Brian Schottenheimer for the Dallas Cowboys. They lose Zach Martin to retirement. They have a very young offensive line. But on the flip side, the Eagles lost a ton of players from that championship defense. But I think this offense that's pretty much intact minus Mekhi Becton is going to be a little bit too much for Dallas. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to get a big win in week one. Next up, we're going to go to the Chiefs and the Chargers. This game happens in Brazil. No home field advantage for either of these teams. And last year, the field conditions were terrible. So this is anybody's game. And I really like what the Chargers are doing. They had a great draft, killer draft, bringing in Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris, the wide receiver on the outside. And let's be honest, this Chiefs team isn't what it was 2 or 3 years ago. They're just not. A lot of their big-time players have been dealing with injuries. Travis Kelce's getting older. So I'm going with the upset here, guys. I'm taking with the Chargers to get a big victory down in Rio. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to New England to take on Drake May and the Patriots. Both of these teams, new coaches. We got Vrabel for the Patriots, and we got Pete Carroll for the Raiders. They also brought in Chip Kelly, the Raiders did, to be the offensive coordinator, right? I think both these teams had really good drafts as well. Ashton Genty, Jack Besh for the Raiders. And then we got Will Campbell, Kyle Williams, Trevion Henderson for the Patriots. I still, however, think that this Patriots wide receiver crew is one of the worst in the NFL, even with bringing in Stephon Diggs, right? So I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think this defense and Max Crosby is going to be a little bit too much for the Patriots. I'm taking the Raiders. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Jets. I like the Steelers in this spot. They just signed Aaron Rodgers, and Mike Tomlin knows Justin Fields really well. I do like what the Jets did in the draft, though. They had a really good draft, bringing in Armand Membu to be the right tackle opposite of Olu Fashanu on the left side, and they also drafted tight end Mason Taylor. She's going to bring another layer to this offense. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, I think the offense is going to run the ball a lot and just do enough to get a victory there. Now, we have the Miami Dolphins getting healthier, right? Tyreek Hill, Tua, a lot of players on defense are getting healthy as well, taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. I love the Colts bringing in Tyler Warren in the draft. I think the Dolphins didn't do a great job at all in the draft, so I'm going to go with the home team here. I like the Indianapolis Colts. And I think Daniel Jones is probably going to be the starter in week one. And I think he's going to be good for this offense in the middle of the field especially, right? So, and then with Jonathan Taylor, I think they're going to be a little bit too much for a one-dimensional Dolphins team, right? I'm going to go with the Colts here. Next up on the Sunday slate, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the New Orleans Saints. I love what's happening in Arizona, and I think they could be one of the surprise teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that could potentially make the playoffs this year. They brought in Josh Sweat on that defense, and they had a killer draft. Walter Nolan, Will Johnson. They only drafted one guy on offense. They're really trying to revamp this defense. And then the Saints, on the other hand, lost Derek Carr to retirement. Alvin Kamara is getting older and older. Olave's dealing with the head injuries. I mean, there's a lot of question marks in New Orleans. New head coach Kellen Moore. So I'm going with Arizona to get a big win there in week one. Next up, New York Giants, Washington Commanders, a great division game. The Giants are another team that had a killer draft. Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart, Darius Alexander, Cam Scatterbo. Woo, baby. But I also really like what the Commanders did in the draft, bringing in Josh Connolly Jr., Trey Amos. They did really good in free agency, bringing in Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil. I'm going with the Commanders and Jaden Daniels to get a W, but this game will be closer than expected. Next, we have the Panthers and the Jaguars up next. The Jaguars surprised everyone by moving up and taking Travis Hunter, who will be a great complement to Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence. But they did lose Evan Ingram, however. But I also really like what the Panthers did on offense in the draft, bringing in Tedero and McMillan for Bryce Young. I still don't think this Panthers defense is going to be very good, so I think that the Jaguars win this game. It's going to be really tough for them to be able to deal with Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. I like Trevor Lawrence and the Jags to get a big-time W. Now, we got the Browns at home versus the Bengals. Man, the Bengals, what a dumpster fire organization. They can't even sign their number one pick because they want to put all these bullshit clauses in there. I feel bad for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and all the Bengals fans because ownership there is horrendous. But I do think this is a good matchup for the Bengals, right? Because the Cleveland Browns offense is terrible. So that is great for the Bengals, whose defense is not very good at all. They're not going to be able to keep up with Joe Burrow and score 30 points on the Bengals defense. They're just not. I'm going with the Bengals to get a win here. Next up, we have probably my favorite game of week one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road versus the Atlanta Falcons. We're really going to see what Michael Penix Jr. has in the bag. So they got a really good offense, right? Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, who's been successful with a myriad of different quarterbacks, right? I've been going back and forth on this game, but I'm going to go with the Buccaneers early in this spot. I think that defense might be a little bit confusing and overwhelming for the Falcons, but man, this is going to be a really close game. They brought in Emeka Egbuka to pair with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It's going to be really hard for this Falcons team, who had trouble getting after the quarterback last year, to slow down this Buccaneers offense, in my opinion. Titans at the Broncos. Broncos all day. The Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Rookie quarterback Cam Ward is going to have a really, really long day. I'm going with the Broncos all day long. This is another great game. 49ers versus the Seahawks. I've been going back and forth on this game, but I don't really love the Seahawks offensive line and the weapons there, right? So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey looks healthy, so I'm going to trust Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle to get it done on the road versus Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, right? Now, we got the Lions and the Packers, another great game. The Lions lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, two important interior offensive linemen. That's why I'm going to Green Bay Packers and newly drafted Matthew Golden to get a win here in Green Bay. And I just like, anytime the Lions are on the road, I kind of like what's going on in Green Bay right now. I'm going to go with Jordan Love to get a big-time division win at home in week one. Next up, Texans versus the Rams. I'm going with the Rams all day here. That Texans offensive line, honestly, could be one of the worst units in the NFL this year, and that's really going to hamper what CJ Stroud is able to do. Even though Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins are going to be great, I just don't trust this offensive line at all whatsoever. The Rams get it done. Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. I've been going back and forth and back and forth. I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win in this spot. But it's a really, really close game. Both of these teams went very defensive heavy in the draft, but I just like Josh Allen and the juice he provides, especially at home there. It might be a little harder for the Ravens to communicate, and I think the Bills win in a last-second field goal type of situation. Then, wrapping up week one, Vikings at the Bears. I'm going with the Vikings, who still have one of the best rosters in the NFL, guys. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, J.J. McCarthy, get it done on the road. I just don't trust Caleb Williams. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you're interested in getting early access to my content, you just want to support me and the channel, or you want to get my bets every single Friday, make sure you check out my memberships. I have a 99-cent tier just to support the channel, and for $4.99 a month, you get early access to all my videos, a bunch of exclusive member content like my bets each and every Friday. Make sure you take the time, check it out. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.